By 2026, generative AI has transitioned from an experimental tool into a standard component of the professional services landscape. Within the last 12 months, the deployment of GenAI across law, tax, and government sectors has nearly doubled. This chart tracks organizational adoption. Last year, 22% of firms reported using GenAI. Today, 40% of organizations are actively utilizing the technology. The frequency of this use is equally significant. Among professionals who have adopted these tools, 82% report using them at least weekly. While the integration of the technology is accelerating, many firms are operating without a clear understanding of the financial impact. They are deploying these systems at scale without a mechanism to track their actual business value. This pie chart illustrates the ROI measurement gap. Only 18% of organizations currently collect metrics on the return from their AI tools. 42% do not, and 40% are unsure if any measurement is happening at all. This creates a sharp divergence. The use of the technology is climbing rapidly, but the ability to verify its financial success remains stagnant for 82% of the industry. This measurement gap creates significant friction as firms begin to adopt autonomous agentic AI workflows. Without a baseline for efficiency, firms struggle to accurately value professional time or set competitive pricing. Navigating this shift requires moving beyond the initial adoption phase and implementing a formal strategy that bridges the divide between using the technology and measuring its impact. Success for the minority 18% of firms stems from an operational framework that prioritizes specific business outcomes over generalized technology acquisition. The TR Institute observes the initial rush to acquire AI is being replaced by a thoughtful approach centered on specific problems. Furthermore, organizations with a formal AI strategy are more than 3 times more likely to realize a positive return on investment. For the remaining 82%, the inability to find ROI often stems from a reliance on metrics that are strictly internal rather than business-focused. This horizontal bar chart tracks current ROI metrics. 77% of firms prioritize internal cost savings, and 64% track employee usage. However, only 17% measure client satisfaction, leaving a critical external value point uncounted. Beyond the metrics, concerns over accuracy and hallucinations often prevent organizations from integrating AI more deeply into their client-facing work. As detailed in this technical source image, hallucinations are contextually correct outputs that require human interpretation to determine if they meet professional standards. The challenge is the verification process, not the technology itself. Solving the ROI paradox requires leadership that moves beyond tracking simple software usage, instead measuring how accurately these tools create strategic value for the organization. Clear measurement becomes critical with the rise of agentic AI, which operates differently than standard chatbots. Agentic AI involves autonomous systems capable of planning, reasoning, and executing complex multi-step tasks with minimal human oversight. While GenAI acts as an assistant that responds to prompts, agentic AI can independently handle parts of a workflow, shifting the professional's role from producer to supervisor. This shift forces a discussion about the autonomy line, the degree of independence a professional is willing to grant an automated system. Comfort levels vary significantly across sectors. This technical source image shows that only 17% of legal professionals are comfortable with AI providing legal advice, while 65% of tax and accounting professionals are comfortable with AI offering strategic tax planning. Because these agents review broad data sets around the clock, traditional revenue models based on the time it takes humans to work become less relevant. This stacked bar chart maps the growth of this technology. While only 15% of firms use agentic systems today, 53% are currently in the planning or consideration phase. Organizations that do not establish the ROI of GenAI today will struggle to determine a price for the autonomous outputs generated by these agents tomorrow. Agentic AI shifts the professional's responsibility. They become a validator of results rather than a producer of individual tasks. The high efficiency of these systems directly impacts the billable hour model, as tasks that once took hours are completed in seconds. When an autonomous system performs the work of an associate at a fraction of the time, the traditional hourly revenue model faces a significant challenge. This chart shows the rising concern among professionals. In 2026, a higher percentage of legal and tax professionals view AI as a major threat to current billing structures and firm revenue. This internal concern is coupled with client misalignment. 66% of corporate clients want their firms to use AI, but less than 20% have established formal guidelines for its use. This chart highlights the confusion. 40% of professionals report receiving conflicting instructions, being told to use AI for some clients while being forbidden from using it for others. This friction is a primary reason why firms hesitate to shift away from hourly billing. They lack the consistent client data needed to prove the value of their increased efficiency. The report indicates that the advantage belongs to firms that initiate these conversations. 75% of respondents believe firms should take the lead in discussing AI usage with their clients. The ROI paradox is essentially a data and communication problem. Transitioning to value-based pricing depends on having metrics aligned with the client's goals. The industry is moving from the initial adoption of generative AI to the more autonomous capabilities of agentic systems. Organizations realizing the highest return on investment are those that integrate AI into their core business strategy. To maintain this advantage, measurement must move beyond employee usage and begin tracking client value and business growth. When firms align their strategy, the measurement line climbs to meet the adoption curve, providing the data needed to make informed business decisions. Tracking these metrics allows firms to pivot toward high-value work that remains beyond the reach of automated systems. Human reasoning serves as the final check on accuracy and the primary differentiator for firms in a market saturated with AI-generated content. The transition from being an AI adopter to an AI strategist has become a requirement for maintaining a competitive edge. The future of professional services belongs to those who measure what matters, align with their clients, and price their services based on the value they create.